Oh, right now it's normal, so the loop is just on my end. Okay. It's okay, folks. We're back. We're back. I was literally dropping like 50% frames, so I just wanted to make sure we weren't having any issues. But we back. No worries. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to our next question, Garrett. Now, this season, you transition from a really strong kind of like dark horse team that came out of nowhere, Q for Quarantine, into transitioning over to the Transcendence team, Reckless Shockwave. How has it been, kind of bridging that gap, going from the Discord to the Transcendence tier this season?
It was honestly, it was so unexpected when I went LFT. I was looking for a Discord tier team, and I'd gotten a few offers, and I was weighing my options. And then Nix from Reckless Shockwave DMs me, and he asked
Mhm.
me if I want to try out because they're OffTank. She just had to like leave like right away, right before the season. So I was not expecting to be on a Transcendence tier team. So the transition at the beginning was really rough, honestly. I was
Mhm.
kind of a bad player, I would say. Definitely at least at like Transcendence level. Um, but I feel like I was able to improve a lot over the season. My gameplay got a lot better. And I think like now that I hit masters and all that stuff, I definitely would belong in Transcendence tier over Discord tier.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, we are still having issues on this end. We're just gonna have to trudge along. Sorry everybody. I'm not a lot that I can do about the internet connection. We were doing fine earlier, but we just kind of took a dunk and we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. So we'll do what we can. We'll keep hanging in there best we can, and if need be, we'll see about getting maybe a recording or something later on of this put up for you to watch without the interruptions. So let's go ahead and keep this train a moving, as your team kind of hinted at something, Garrett. They said that you have a secret pre-game ritual that you do before every match. Now, I'm not going to ask you to share what it is, because those are strats, man. You don't give away your strats, especially during the playoffs. But could you speak a little bit on how kind of you develop this ritual over time, and how you feel it kind of helps you when it comes to your gameplay?
I mean, it's actually saying it's like a ritual. I would say is it's more like a rituals. There's like there's a lot of steps to it,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's just kind of one of those things where I think I developed it over such a long amount of time that now I just have to do it always, and it's kind of just like a rejuvenation thing. I feel like the
Gotcha.
the two key parts is like I'd say like 2 hours before a game. It's a
Hmm.
shower, like you shower. You gotta shower before a game always. Um, and then I take a nap.
Okay.
Um, and it just like that. That's it. That's how you do it. Because you wake up from
Interesting.
the nap and you're ready to go.
Interesting. See, for me, it would be if I took a shower and then took a nap, I'd be out for like the next 3 hours. So, uh,
Yeah,
yeah, I guess
I just
it
set like
definitely.
several alarms
Yeah,
always. Make sure I
well,
wake
even
up
if I
on
said
time.
I'm a very heavy sleeper, so that would not be an option for me. But hey, getting a little nap, getting yourself rested, and shower, get yourself all nice and clean. It's a very interesting routine. Probably pretty tame compared to some of the rituals I know some esports and probably sports players have out there. So it's I definitely wouldn't worry about that one bit. And now your team knows your super
They
secret
know, yeah.
strats for prepping for games. So just everybody on Reckless Shockwave, you weren't able to get further in the playoffs because you didn't shower and take a nap before the match. That was the secret, and you missed it. You missed it, fam. All right. So now we did talk a little bit to your sibling, and nevertheless, you have more of an affinity towards art kind of in the physical medium, whereas Glitch is more kind of digital art, graphic arts, stuff like that. Um, uh, uh, Particularly, at least according to my notes, in tattoos.
Yeah.
So, kind of what pushed you kind of in that direction to become a tattoo artist? That's kind of a very unique niche kind of occupation to find yourself into.
Believe it or not, it was actually Overwatch, right? I guess like
Oh.
kind of Overwatch in a way. I got really hooked on the ideas of tattoos in general after I saw Jonak.
Hmm.
He has the half sleeve on his forearm, and I saw that and I was like, that's dope. I want that. And ever since I saw that for the first time, I'd just been drawing on myself and practicing that kind of thing. And now we're getting to a point where I'm actually pursuing that as like a career, and I'm very excited about that in the future.
Nice. Now, have you already been like apprenticing or anything like that, or is it just kind of the interest right now, and you're still kind of looking to how to make your way into the industry?
Right now, I'm working on my portfolio is basically finished. So right now, I'm actually just looking
Oh,
for shops to go to and like show what I have and see if they'll accept me as an apprentice.
awesome. Now, what kind of, if you don't mind sharing with us, what kind of work have you already done
Um,
when it comes to your portfolio?
the big one is a design that I did for myself. Going back to Jonak, I did like a octopus that I'm gonna get soon on my
Mm-hmm.
forearm. Um, and like the style I did it in is kind of it's a very weird amalgamation of styles because my regular art style is very like heavy line work is the way I describe it. So my lines are very thick and I go over them a lot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so um like that's the big one I've done, and I've done a couple of like smaller designs, and then like I've done practice doing something called flash, which is like the old school like 40s tattoos. I've done a couple of
Oh.
those because that's kind of something you have to learn.
Oh, interesting. I've not really an area I've gotten into just yet. There's a couple that I've thought about getting, but still on the back burner. Not a big fan of needles myself, so uh, have to figure out a way to endure the pain and just kind of make it happen. But that's really incredible. I'd say that especially artistry that is more permanent in natures, like tattoo work is something that requires a lot of patience and a lot of dedication to the craft. So very good on you. That's absolutely incredible to see your work there. I do want to note in the chat. I know that we're having a lot of issues right now. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Internet's taking a big dip. There's not a lot that I can do. Unfortunately, it's not Garrett's fault. I absolutely promise that. But we're struggle bussing. We're gonna get through best we can. Hopefully, you're able to catch some of what is going on tonight. Um, but let's go ahead and keep working our way through these questions. Now, speaking a little bit on reckless shockwave, as we kind of noted in the title tonight, this is apparently the off tank version of the beat drop, apparently, because pretty much all of our interviewees except for Color is an off tank tonight. So, what would you say is like the biggest challenge for an off tank player when it comes to um, mitigate all the responsibilities that you have on the field?
I mean everything because that's it's literally you do
Everything.
everything at once all the time.
Yeah.
Um, I would say the biggest thing, and I see this a lot in a lot of players just in general, is trying to, especially as diva, trying to like balance where you're playing from, especially in a lot of like these ball comps where the diva kind of you have to be engaging with your ball and tracer, but then
Mhm.
also peeling for like Briggs Zen a lot.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think if you can balance that like that aggression, then you're really really set. And I think that I was only just starting to like pick up on that not too long ago. So like that's kind of I'd say that's probably the hardest thing about OffTank to do right now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I can
Characters
definitely
like Sigma
understand
are
that.
kind of brainless. You kind of just do whatever. But
Yeah, when you're grouped up, you don't have to go very far, but I can
yeah,
understand with like dive compositions and whatnot where you really have to cover like a wide area, every time your boosters are on cooldown, you're freaking hitting it to get to somebody.
yeah.
So I can definitely understand that, and that's why I don't play Diva good. So if you were to give kind of your top 3 pieces of advice to aspiring off tank players here in the Tranquility community. We're going to pick your brain a little bit. What do you think would be kind of like those top 3, like, must do, must work towards this goal as an off tank player?
Number one, this is the biggest piece of advice I can give anybody ever. Don't go for remat kills. Please, please don't play for remat kills. Please don't do it. It's such a bad idea. I know it's so tempting and you want to do it, but you can't do it. Um, like legitimately, that is advice I would definitely give.
Hmm.
Um, Two, uh, go in the same light. Don't play for ultimate eats. Like
Okay.
eating as diva, it should never be like your game plan going into a fight. Like they have Blizzard. That's the art because they Blizzard and we don't have beat. You have to eat it. Don't do that.
Okay.
Like it's kind of
Interesting.
like you should never be out of position going for an ultimate negation.
Oh, okay. Okay. That makes
Like
a little bit
never
more
make
sense.
that your game plan because it's not the primary part of Diva's kit really.
Okay.
Um, and then I think like the third overall piece of advice is definitely like always know where you're positioning,
Hmm.
especially because it's different per character, like and per comp too. So it really like it's so complicated to think about, but like
Hmm.
always think about where you're positioned, especially in a lot of die comps or like double bubble, especially as Zarya. If
Hmm.
you're not with your backline, you're throwing basically, unless it's like
Gotcha.
on the like point on like on fighting on point. You're kind of trolling if you're like pushed up.
Well, I am letting you know right now you're getting absolutely called out in the chat by Nix saying, how dare you say don't get remat kills? You get remat kills every single game that we
Yeah, and
play."
it's always on accident. I never like go in the back line and wait for someone to come near me.
So
It's like magnetic.
got
People
got
come
gotta
to me.
love your supportive teammates out there. I always love it. We always love seeing it here on the beat drop. All right. So um as we go ahead and wind down here to the end, folks, make sure to get your questions in the chat. I believe I did see one earlier. Uh, let's see, where was that question? There we go. Capital has a question for you, Garrett. And I don't know how appropriate this question is. I always question whether I should ask these questions, but I'm going to anyway. What does the monkey room mean to you, Garrett? What does the monkey room
The
mean to
monkey
you?
room is it was a couple weeks ago. A
Hmm.
bunch of the nostalgia people were playing the 1v1 game on Lijiang. They were
Hmm.
playing that, and then I just joined randomly,
Okay.
and then we started playing Tracer Virus, which is like or Monkey Virus, where like everyone's a tracer, and then like one person is Winston, and you gotta chase all the tracers and turn them into Winstons.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And we were playing on Dorado, and the bank, the defender's first spawn.
Hmm.
I went in there as Winston, and I was just like, "This is Monkey Room. Come to Monkey Room." And like for the rest of the time we were playing, it was just me and Cap, and we would just sit in the Monkey Room together. That's all Monkey Room is. It's just Monkey Room.
Gotcha. All right. Well, it looks like Capital really enjoyed really enjoyed the monkey room to have you
I
bring
did
it up
too.
here
I loved Monkey
on the
Room.
podcast. So Cry is asking what if you could get rid of one hero in Overwatch, what would it be, Garrett? We always see it
Um,
on Twitter. What's your take? Who are we taking out?
it's so difficult for me to. I think See, because it's such a I hate playing against Sombra because I play on ping a lot of the time, so I get hacked through walls, which isn't
Okay.
fun. But I would say probably like Sombra or like Brig. I hate Brig so much. She's not real. I refuse to believe that character exists.
That's a big consensus. Although I'm not for certain how well that will be going into Overwatch 2, in the eventuality that it eventually comes out with the recent news. We won't comment on that, but we do have one last question here from the chat from Train. Garrett, who was your favorite team to play against this season?
Ooh. I mean, the game against Amnesia was really fun,
Okay.
honestly, because I know a lot of those people and I used to play for Nostalgia. I would probably say Amnesia and Nya was really fun to play against, and by that extent, when we played World with Wildcats, because I love Laz as well.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, there wasn't really a game that wasn't boring to play or like wasn't fun.
Awesome.
But I think the most fun game we played was definitely against Amnesia in playoffs.
Gotcha. Were there? I'll ask a little follow up to that. Were there any teams that you didn't face this season that you would have loved to face?
Um, I mean, I wish we could have played Alpha. We probably would have gotten rolled
Oh.
by Alpha, but like they probably would have just
You
absolutely
know,
destroyed us instantly. But I would that would have been fun to play against Alpha. Definitely, like the inner org battle.
hey, so sometimes just getting to try that out is always an interesting standpoint, and that's something that I often forget is that Alpha is part of the Reckless Org, so kind of the brotherly rivalry going on right there is pretty awesome. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to our final two questions of the evening. I got to ask you, like I asked those that came before you, Garrett, of all the teams still competing in the Transcendence tier, which are Alpha, Bird Society, Ibis, Devil Dukes, God Hand, Battalion, Corvidity, Nya, and the Decapitators. Which two teams do you believe have the gumption and the skill to get to those two championship spots?
It's a really hard question.
Hmm. That's
Especially
why I
because I
asked you.
haven't I know I haven't played against some of those teams. Like we haven't played Corvidity or Alpha or any of those
Mm.
teams. Um, my personally, I think it'll be Alpha and Decap are as the last two.
Interesting.
I think God Hand is gonna get upset. I wouldn't be surprised if Nya took it
Ooh.
to him. Honestly, Nya's really really good.
Wow. All right. So we got some additional predictions here from Garrett. Godhand will eventually truly be going downhill by the end of all this. I will say Decapitators have had a really interesting run. I haven't been paying a huge amount of attention to this season, unfortunately, because I've had other stuff going on. But the Decapitators run
Yeah, all
has been
the
one that's really been standing out to me. So
the
I definitely
decap
concur with
players,
that.
they're all crazy, and we've
Yeah.
played decap twice, and both times we've just gotten absolutely rolled. They're really
Yeah.
good. Like Delphi, his comms are really good. Delphi's a really cool guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think decap I think it'll be decap alpha. They're both really good teams with really good players.
All right. We will just have to see how that works out. Of course, it all depends on how the bracket ends up laying out. So, hopefully, Decap and Alpha aren't on the same side of the bracket. I'm not 100% sure if
Oh,
that's
yeah,
the
that's
way
true. I
it.
haven't looked at the
I'm not
bracket yet.
100% certain if that's the way that it works out off the top of my head. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and get to your last question of the evening, there, Garrett. Garrett, please tell me, how would you find a needle in a haystack?
Oh, um, I would I would eat the haystack and like I'd eat all the hay and then I'd spit the needle out at the very end. I'd be like, "Oh, there it is," and then
Wow,
I'd spit it out.
what an absolute Chad move there, Garrett. You just eat the whole haystack and
Yep.
then just like cartoon burp up the needle and then
Yeah, like
just
Kirby.
throw it down in front of you.
Yep.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, Garrett, thank you so much for being on the beat drop with me tonight. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about or any shout outs that you'd like to do before we move on to our last interviewee of the evening?
Definitely, I definitely want to shout out my Twitter. It's right below me.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
I've retweeted me and Nix from Reckless Shockwave are playing a way out together. So there's like a video for that. The first part of that came out today. So definitely check that out. Um, and other than that, I just want to say like thank you to Tranquility for like letting me play and giving me this like last opportunity as a player. I really appreciate that. And like honestly, I wouldn't have like there's not another team I would have rather played on as like my last team.
Oh, awesome. Well, it looks like we did get a little bit of a note here from Long in the chat saying the loser of Decapitators versus Devil Dukes goes to the
Ooh.
alpha side of the playoffs bracket. So, Decapitators,
Yeah, decap. You have
if
to
you're
throw
gonna
to go
make
play alpha.
if you're gonna make the Garrett prediction ring true, you got to take down Devil Dukes. Otherwise, it will not happen. So we will see if that will indeed be the case here soon. All right, thank you for joining us, Garrett. Let's go ahead and get on to our last interview of the evening. We actually saw a little bit of them earlier today. Needs no introduction as their name has lit up the Twitch chat all season, either by spreading memes in the chat or just by their amazing plays. As the off-tank player for Mark III, they're constantly keeping their nose in trouble, both on and off the field, just like a good old WWE superstar. Welcome to the beat drop, Tom Joe.
How's it going?
How's it going? It's going good. How you
It's
doing?
good to be here.
Awesome. So glad to have you here, Tom Joe. Now, unfortunately, your team was not very forthcoming with a lot of information, so we're gonna be making up some things as we go along. But as I kind of mentioned, in the well, we know that you were in the feature match today. Absolutely close. Took it to map 5, 99 to 99 on the final map of Busan. Like,
That was insane.
how are you feeling? Like, how are you feeling after that?
Well, that shadow that Tor hit to like extend the stall. He extended the stall by like 30%. That was insane.
Yeah, I mean,
That was insane.
I was
We didn't
kind of
expect that.
wondering
He didn't expect
myself.
that either.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering myself where Tracton was the rest of the evening, but
Yeah, he just said I just said a
you
shatter.
show up
Okay.
when it's important sometimes, right? It doesn't matter
Yeah.
when you show up, just as long as it's when it's important. So, yeah, that was. I know that when we were sitting in here prepping, we were just kind of oh, like what is this insanity going on here? So,
Hmm.
it's definitely crazy for sure, for sure. All right, so why don't you give us kind of like your highlight from today's match? You had some sick bombs,
I would
but do you
say
believe there were any other big plays of mention that you really enjoyed from your team or from Mechanized?
I would say well, Mechanizes main support played really well, really good beats.
Hmm.
For me, I don't think I played that good.
Hey, I mean,
I
you were
think
lighting up the kill feed here and there, and nothing
I
to
was just
stop
stealing their
at.
final blows.
Hey, you know what? The person that blows on a house that's getting ready to topple over is the one that probably gets in trouble for the house falling down. So, you know what? Just take the blame, badge of honor. Yeah, I got those elims. Put them in your pocket, even if Tor and the rest of the DPS did like 99% of the work. No worries. So, all right. So, now, prior to the playoffs starting, we know, and we've kind of mentioned this a little bit, there have been some changes to Mark III. The addition of Tracton, I'm not for certain 100% off the top of my head any other additions or swaps that were kind of made on the team, but even just the addition of a new player can really kind of change the way that the team plays. How has Mark III kind of been adjusting to that? And do you feel that it has been kind of a blessing or a struggle as you've been making your way through the elimination round, through the knockout round?
I'd say it's a little bit of both because
Okay.
obviously in stage one, right, everybody knows, okay, 5-0, okay, undefeated. Everybody knows we played ball. We were a ball one trick team because
Okay.
that's like all we were good at. And then towards like the end, like the last couple games of stage one, we busted out the horse. That
Yes.
that kind of helped us. And then stage two, I don't want to talk about stage two.
We don't talk about that.
We
We
got
don't talk about
winless.
stage
Um,
two.
and then we picked up Tor. That's when we started, getting
Bring
our
it
footing
back.
back. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Um, Now, I did mention this a little bit in your introduction that you're a big fan of wrestling. I was too way back in the day. What would you say is like your favorite wrestler or like wrestling partnership in well actually I guess the first thing we should ask is do you pay attention to like WWE? Is it more of like the kind of off-brand professional wrestling? Like what do you watch in your free time that you enjoy?
Yeah, I watch AEW. It's on TNT like every
Oh, okay.
Wednesday. MLW, it's every Wednesday on YouTube. You can actually
Okay.
watch that.
Oh,
And
nice.
Impact, I just watch that on YouTube as well. I used to
Gotcha.
watch Japanese wrestling too. Really cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they hit hard.
Oh, well, I could imagine. Anything that comes out from that area of the country is always hard, fast, and in a hurry. I tell
Hmm.
you that they got the passion.
Oh yeah.
You thought Squid Games was lying with the way people are passionate about how they play. That's some passion right there. But who would you say is kind of like one of your favorites or a couple of your favorite wrestlers from those
Oh, hands down.
organizations?
I would say all time. I grew up watching Jeff Hardy, so Hardy Boys.
All right. Yeah,
Jeff
yeah.
Hardy, Edge. I grew up watching Edge and Shawn Michaels. I actually went to watch Jeff Hardy like 12 years ago, WrestleMania. It was
Oh,
awesome.
nice. That's incredible. I grew up my family was really big into wrestling back in the day. And I think the one that always kind of caught my eye was Sting and Goldberg.
Oh, I love
Those
Sting.
two. Plus this was back I believe before the merger of the two different wrestling organizations that now is the WWE. But
Mhm.
Undertaker, on top of all that, just an absolute nut house. So awesome. That's really cool.
Sting is actually still wrestling.
Yeah,
62.
I heard that some of them came back, and I was like, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" Like, I mean, I would say that we all relatively know that that's a little scripted, kind of what goes on there, but you still
Mhm.
take a beating.
Oh yeah,
And they had been doing it for quite a few years, but to see Sting come back, that's got to
that was
be
awesome. I actually saw him live because I went to a live show
oh
like 2 months
nice.
ago. I popped. I cried. It was awesome.
I could imagine that's got to be really incredible.
Yep.
Awesome. So my follow-up question here, which Overwatch hero kind of fits the energy of like your favorite wrestlers? And um how would you if you could add a move to Overwatch based on one of theirs, what would you who would do it and what would it be?
Well, the big thing with wrestlers is that it's all about like charisma, right? So if you don't have
Mhm.
charisma, then you're really boring. You're not
Yep,
entertaining. If you're entertaining, and you're not really good for TV.
you right.
So for that, I would say I don't know, probably Lucio.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. And what kind of moves would you put into the game based off of those wrestlers? So I know Lucio
Um.
probably ain't doing no elbow drops, but like what would be kind of a Lucio creative move that you could put a spin on for a support?
Well, you know how he drops the beat instead of
Yeah.
dropping the beat, he could like drop an elbow.
You know what? You're right. You actually right there. So instead of Lucio dropping the beat, we could have an alternate ultimate.
Hmm.
Overwatch 2. Call us up right now. Drop the elbow for Lucio. So That would be incredible for sure. Now, the other note that we got from your teammates is that on top of Overwatch, and I imagine probably other games you play on PC, you enjoy mobile gaming as well, specifically Clash of Clans. Now, Clash of Clans been around for a little bit. I used to play it back in the day when it first came out. What kind of draws you into a game like Clash of Clans, vice the kind of competitive, fast-paced FPS nature of Overwatch?
I actually just came back to Clash this year
Oh,
after
okay,
not playing it since like middle school.
all right.
Yeah, I was just curious to see how fun it was, and now I'm addicted again.
Gotcha. Yeah, mobile games just have a way of doing that. I don't know what
Mhm.
they put in the water when you start playing them, but
Yeah.
it does get addicting a bit. What is it that you like about it? Is it kind of like the strategy element? Like, are you in a clan and you like
Yeah, I
raid
would say so.
together? Okay,
Like the strategy.
nice. Do you see yourself applying like some of the like broader techniques that you use in Clash of Clans and like your Overwatch gameplay?
Uh,
I
I'm
know
not that
they're
good at
two
Clash,
complete
so
I know they're two completely different games, but, like, just kind of, how you focus on, like, weaknesses and things like that. Do you see kind of like
yeah,
a
I
okay,
would say so.
nice, nice. Alright, so let's go ahead and keep moving our way
Oh,
through. I'm gonna
actually, I have
go
one
ahead.
comment to make. I actually forgot to say, I love Randy Savage, Macho Man.
Macho Man,
Randy
yeah.
Savage.
Snap into a Slim Jim, not
Yeah.
sponsored by the Beat Drop, yeah.
Oh yeah, love Randy
Oh,
Savage. I have a
yeah.
shirt of his.
That's awesome. Randy Savage again, like you said, charisma
Mm-hmm.
oozing out of
Mm-hmm.
that man. I tell you, goodness. All right, let's go ahead. I'm gonna take a look in the chat, see if we got any questions for Tom Joe here. Remember, folks, if you would like to ask any questions of Tom Joe, be sure to be putting them in the chat. Gap asked, "Who is your favorite Discord tier team?"
Let me look at the tier. That we played or just in general?
Oh, well, just in general, I there's
Probably, I would say Quagga just because the logo.
I mean, marsupial org in general kind of slaps with the logos. Like
They do.
you have like you have like the Trank Home org, so you got like Aerial Felines, Starch Esports, and their logos are pretty good. And then you have Marsupial org and that's about it. Like, then you have some bangers come here or there. Council of Anime Girls was out there a little bit, but there's always some bangers every season. So we do indeed like that. Long in the chat saying DD logo goaded. Indeed, Devil Dukes do got it again. Marsupial or just banging them out. I swears. All right, so I want to kind of talk a little bit more about kind of your gameplay style, and we were kind of seeing that a little bit tonight. Now, as your team has kind of been adjusting to the additions and swaps on your team, have you been seeing that there's kind of well, we saw tonight that there seemed to be a lot of reliance on the rush composition, but I won't have you like release any team secrets or anything, but are there preparations kind of in the back line to kind of branch out and maybe be a little bit more flexible, especially with the opponents you'll find yourself facing in the future?
Yes, I mean we usually do that. We just decided to play that
Just
one
decided to
comp.
play all
Yeah.
rush tonight.
Yeah.
It was just a rush kind of night. You were just kind of
Yeah.
feeling it. All right, totally understandable. All right. Uh, let's go ahead and get down to our last two questions while we're waiting some questions from the audience here. With Mark 3 being on this list, In addition to Reminiscence, Paradise Lost, Domination, Quokka Queens, Echo Fleet, SEAL Team Spuds, and Excalibur. Tom Joe, who is headed to the championships?
Rem and Quokka.
Oh, so you don't even have Mark III in those top two. Like you just like, yeah, I know when I'm beat.
I'm realistic. So I think Rem and Quokka is gonna be like a really close, like best of 7 or however many games.
Nice, nice. Well, so Quokka and Rem definitely one of the expected show matches. I believe I didn't get a chance to watch the bracketology that we typically do every season, but I would not be surprised if that was one of the biggest endings for Discord tier that was kind of expected. So, um, interesting. Definitely see that. Well, I always give love to the underdog, so I'll give some love to Mark III in hopes that you'll make it through the playoffs run. I know that this last match in the knockout round is going to be a little rough because I believe y'all are against Quokka, correct?
No, we're against Spuds. We
Oh,
lost
you're
to
against
them.
Spuds.
Yeah, first week of stage 2. Failed the reverse
Ooh.
sweep. Yeah.
All right, all right. So this is the payback match.
Yeah, salty run back.
Nice, nice. The salty run back.
Mhm.
Let's see if y'all can make it happen and get that good seating. Because if I remember correctly, I've been still kind of trying to understand our new system, but I believe this last round nobody gets eliminated. Everybody just gets seeded for the playoffs. Correct?
That's only upper bracket.
Oh, only for the upper bracket. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll keep my fingers crossed. We'll see how far Mark III can make it. So your final question, at least from me tonight, Tom Joe, I've got a box of standard crayons sitting in front of me. So you got your red, you got your blue, you got your yellow, black, white, whatever. And I want to add one special crayon to the box, and that's you. What color would you pick and why? What
Cerulean.
say that one more time?
Cerulean. It's spelled
Cerulean.
Cerealean. It's basically a shade of blue.
Oh, you mean cerulean?
Yeah, that's how you say
Oh, okay.
it.
I was like Sarah Lean, like Sarah Lee. Like I didn't know that. I didn't know that
Cerulean.
food companies were making colors now. All right, so cerulean. That's
Yeah.
really good. Do you got like a special connection to that? Is it like Pokemon related? Because I know like Cerulean City and whatnot, or is it just like that's the color that speaks Tom Joe?
Yeah, it's my favorite color.
All right. Yeah, that's nice. I want to say there's a royalty purple I really enjoy. It's not super dark, but it's just like that perfect shade of purple to remind me of all the riches I'll never have. So, all right, Tom Joe, thank you so much for coming on the beat drop tonight, and congratulations once again on your team's amazing victory tonight. Is there anybody that you'd like to shout out, or anything else you'd like to talk about before I let you go?
Oh yeah, one last thing. The high school graduation song is actually Randy Savage's theme song. So that dun 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 dun, dun it's
Really?
his theme song. Yup.
I
Iconic.
Interesting. I don't
Hmm.
remember that. I mean, I have dad brain, so I don't remember a lot of things from growing up, but that's interesting.
It is.
That is interesting. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Tom Joe. I'm going to go
Hmm.
ahead and sign us off for the evening. You go ahead and have a good night.
You too. Thank you, Kev.
No problem. All right, folks. So that is going to be it for us here at the Beat Drop. I want to remind you all that next week is actually our last episode. I know it's sad, but as you can see, it is almost midnight. And we figured with the first to fours coming up and with matches getting even longer in the playoffs, it's just not right to be doing the B drop so late, keeping people up. But it is going to be a banger. So I hope you don't miss it. And of course, as always, don't be missing any of the amazing content that we have coming out here in the Tranquility community. Monday nights, you got the Iris podcast and Predicting Tranquility Tuesday night is your Harmony tier feature match, followed by Coach's Corner with the amazing Juggle God. Congratulations to him for the first ever double win of the best caster and best non-staff contributor. So props to you, Juggle God. Absolutely amazing. And then Wednesday night, as always, your Transcendence tier feature match, followed by Thursday night, where we'll be heading into the Discord tier one more time into the B drop. So thank you so much for watching. My name's Captain Jack. We'll see y'all next week.